Welcome back, my business besties. Today, we're going to be talking about when to make the move to a bigger office. I get this question all the time in coaching, so you will have this question. So let's have the conversation now. Are you ready? Now, for that person who doesn't have an office yet, let's say you started practice during COVID and you were just virtual. I will tell you that we're noticing a trend to in person. And I actually think just getting one office first will help you grow. Can you grow virtually? Yes, you can. Do I have a lot of people in my program who are doing it? Yes. Have some of them hit the 7-figure mark? Yes, they have. How exciting. I will tell you though, Google ads work better, especially if you want to be private pay, or in Canada, we're all private pay and you want to get out of in network. It's going to help you to have your own office. It's just a thing. I just think that people really want to be with people. And I am curious where our future goes with the bots, because now will we move back to virtual because we're so used to having bots obviously are virtual, right? So maybe as these bots become more and more taking over our lives, maybe we will become more used to virtual. Or my prediction is the opposite, that we're going to crave each other more than ever. We already do. I'm going to be offering in person, by the way, events, mostly for my graduates. If I ever open it up to the public, I'll let you know. But graduates, I know you're listening, just know it's all top secret right now, but we'll be meeting and gathering together way more than we ever have. Well, actually, way more than ever, because I've never done anything in person. If you are virtual, I do think moving to a one office is really, really smart. We just notice that you get way busier faster, especially if of course, if you see children. But also, we're noticing that it's so interesting. If you're virtual, most people will say, I don't know about virtual. But the moment you offer in person, let's say you've hired with one of your therapists, they're more likely, that client, to be okay with hybrid. Some of my members are saying that they'll only come in a few times in person and then they're fine to move virtual. But for whatever reason, they really want those first few sessions, if not the first session, to be in person. So I do believe it's a smart move, but you only need one office, and I'm going to explain why. And then I'm going to walk you through exactly when or if you should move to a bigger office. One office can provide you with so much revenue, more than you probably know. Those people, if you're a therapist listening right now and you have one office, did you know that you're sitting on a gold mine, my friend? You could run your very room when you're not there evenings and weekends. So as you know, I grew into a group practice when my kids were 2. The twins were born, they were 2. Guess what I started doing? I did not get that big office. I'll put a link to my big clinic, 24 rooms, 7,000 square feet. I did not get that right away. I was aware that I was sitting on a gold mine, and guess what I would do? I would go home at 3 o'clock and I would have in my very waiting room an intern, one of my interns, waiting for me to finish up my last client. We would chat for a few minutes. They would jump into my room and I would go home. And then they were happy getting their hours, making a difference. I'm making a bigger impact, but also this revenue is flowing in where I'm playing with my babies and cuddling them and sitting in the backyard and loving my life. And that happened evenings and weekends. And actually, I had 3. I had up to 3 people in that room because each person is only going to work. So in Canada, it is very typical to hire contractors. So when I'm speaking to therapists in both countries, Canada and America, in general, I say hire someone, even your interns here in Canada and in most places can see up to 15 clients a week. The reason you don't want a contractor to see more clients than that, do you know why? Is because you actually want them to work somewhere else. We don't want the CRA or the IRS, if they're giving you all the hours, to call them an employee. Because before you know it, the labor board gets involved and you now owe back tax and all these employee fees. I had 3 people They were all interns. Each of them were offering 15 sessions every single week. And I was home with my family. And I was able to do that with just one room. The best part too for you, so you're going to get yourself busy and then you're going to want to work less so you can supervise these interns or pre-licensed, or you can just do the exact same thing with fully licensed therapists. It does mean though that the room is available for you less, of course, but isn't that what you want? Eventually, you can have this one room. You're going to love this math. Can run 60 sessions a week. Let me explain. Monday to Friday, you can have 2 shifts in each room. So that's 10 client sessions happening every single day, Monday to Friday. That's 50 sessions. Then you've got Saturday and Sunday, and we would run, believe it or not, Sundays were our busiest day. I don't know why Canadians love therapy on a Sunday. And therapists wanted to work on a Sunday. I think because Saturdays they did their errands, they did all their things, and then Sundays they liked therapy. We would run the room 5 hours on the Saturday, 5 hours on the Sunday. So total all that up, that is 60 sessions. So eventually you could have a group practice, my friend, and only have one room. But wait, there's more. Let's talk revenue. Let's say your therapy rate is $175, just for easy numbers. Let's do the math. $175, every single session is happening, times 60 is just over 10 grand. Times that by 4, and every single month, your one room, AKA gold mine, is now bringing in $42,000. That's pretend you're just running the room and you're not there. Now, obviously, that's top line revenue. Now you have to pay your therapist. And let's say they're all fully licensed, you're not keeping as much. Because of course, if you have a fully licensed person, you as the group practice owner keeps less, right? You only keep 40%. You pay 60. But I actually started with interns. I kept all of the cash flow. Double check what you have to pay if there's a stipend if you're in the States. But a lot of the time you don't have to pay because they're getting paid through the training, through the supervision, through the course credit. Or pre-license, you're actually keeping 50%. So that is a whole lot of income that is flowing in. So my answer to the question is, when, Nicole, should I move into a bigger office? Here's the answer. It's when you've run where you are now and you sucked all the juice out of where you currently are now. It's pure profit, my friend. Why would you increase your expenses and stress and headache? Don't do that yet. If you want to, of course, we're going to talk about how to build $1 million group practice. Can you do that with one room? No. Can you grow at a pace that feels good with high profit margins? Yes. For some of you, you've done this. You're like, okay, my room is busting at the seams. But how big should my office be and when should I make the move? You want to fill what you already have in the room that you already have. Now, however, I want you to think and know when you move and scale to a bigger office, there's a lot of expenses. There's first and last. A lot of people forget that. So you're going to have to come up with, let's say you get a 4-room bigger office and it's $1,500, okay, a month, you're going to have to pay first and last. So that's actually $3,000. And then you've got every single room you now have to furnish. I would do a couch because I suggest couples therapy. So I actually suggest having a couch in all rooms. I made the mistake of that and it was really hard to convert it into like a family room. So when you're furnishing, I would think that every room, can it hold a family? Now you're probably thinking, well, Nicole, I don't do family therapy, but maybe one day you will, or couples or kids. So I would make sure you have a couch, end tables. I would even do at least one like small, like a little sofa chair. And then you need a desk and then you need a chair. And that's actually all you need, which is pretty great. But you also have your waiting room. So expenses will go up. So here's what I would do. This is really key. Don't move until you know your break even point. So I want you to find your dream office. We're going to talk about how big that's going to be in a sec. And then write everything down. What is it going to cost you every single month? All in. There's sometimes these like hidden fees. So double check. I think it's called, I want to say TMI. But anyway, it's like all these extra fees that is wrapped into the rent. So how much is it all? My hydro is included, which is amazing. Will you have to pay for parking? So put that in there, just the additional costs to move. And then I personally want you to have a life with ease. So I wouldn't move too early where you have all these empty rooms and you're really stressed. Instead, don't move until you know your break even point. So what that means is, let's say all in, it's $1,600, okay, every month. That's what you have to come up with in addition to what you're paying now. What I would do is run your current room. Make sure you have that $1,600 after paying your therapist, that is flowing in. And I just suggested how to do it, right? You're going to hire the people. You're going to be home with your family. They're going to see clients. That money's going to be flowing in. And then it's a beautiful thing. You move into your bigger room. This is what I did. I went from a small office to an eight offices. And then our neighbor moved and we moved up to 16 and then 24. We basically stayed where we were and we just kept blowing out walls, basically. But when I moved, I already had the abundance flowing in because I worked and squeezed all the juice out of my first office, that my new office felt free. It felt free because there's no financial burden. That money I already have. And what was even better than that is there was no stress because of course you're going to have empty rooms when you move in. It's not going to be full right away. I had to hire the people. It was a new area. I had to build brand authority. Nobody knew me, but I didn't stress because I didn't have to come up with the additional money. I already had that flowing in. Now you're thinking, okay, good to know, but how big should it be? Let's say you want $1 million group practice. You probably do because you've attended one of my master classes, how to build a 7-figure group practice. You're following me because you know I've reached that multiple 7-figure mark. By the way, I'll put a link for you for my master class if you haven't attended yet. It is every single week. Come hang out with me and I'll walk you through exactly how I did it. What we want to do is first we want to come up with the revenue. What is your revenue goal, my business bestie? What is it? Will you just say it out loud right now? Even if people are around, who cares? Say it out loud. I want to hear it. Okay. From there, you want to reverse engineer. Yes. So what that means is you're like, okay, how much is $1 million every month? I'm glad you asked. $1 million every month, you have to bring in approximately $83,000. Okay. Stop the car, jot that down, or just note it to Siri. So let's actually work the numbers. In order to hit that mark, your next question needs to be, how many therapists do I need? Well, I suggest hiring part-time therapists. Now, if you are American, most of you hire employees over there, W-2s. 70% of the people I work with in my program are American. So we talk about this all day long. Honestly, I would hire full-time all day. The only reason I always say hire part-time, have them see at least 15 clients a week, offering 3 5-hour shifts because we want variety. We don't want to burn them out. So 3 5-hour shifts. However, if you have an employee therapist, oh my gosh, have them commit only to you to see 20 clients a day, or if they even want to see a little bit more, like 25 if that's okay with them and they could work a full 5 days, 5 hours, 5 sessions per day. Yes. But for these numbers, just because a lot of you also are listening and have contractors, we're going to talk part-time, okay? You're going to need about 8 or 10 therapists that are part-time that see 15 clients a week. So let's say you have 10 therapists, but wait, you don't need 10 rooms. They're only part-time. So I would say you probably need less than 5 rooms, but let's go with 5 rooms because I want the CEO to have a room. You should have a room and have a presence. One day, eventually, you may not, but let's give you a room. And then the 10 therapists can share the other 4 rooms. This is pretty easy. It's a bit of a Tetris game. I would have each one offer an evening and a weekend, or at least one of those for sure. And technically, and you can run this with ChatGPT because the computer's so smart and can do the quick math for you. ChatGPT, I was talking to Chatty Chad, but he's my bot, my pet bot, before I was talking to you. And he was actually saying 10 therapists only need 3 rooms. Now, I want you to have a room, so that's 4 rooms. And just to be safe, because it can be a Tetris game, and if you want to expand even more, 5. But I see some of you going and getting 6 rooms and you haven't done your break even, and then it's stressful. But I want you to live a life with ease. Let's bring some ease and do some math and take the right steps. And better yet, are we hanging out over on Instagram? I have something for you. Do you want my cost benefit analysis? I talk about the break even point, but I literally walk you through in a video so you can see my lovely face. I walk you through what is a cost benefit analysis. It's really important. This is your hard earned money, and I want to remove my job as your business bestie is to remove the stress. Message me on Instagram, just DM me the word clarity. Okay, jump into my DMs, drop the word clarity, and I'll send this to you. It's a video. You will love it. Write it down, talk to your partner, sleep on it, and then make the move. I want to talk to you for a second also about a second location. Some of you are following me. You already got the office, okay? Now, and it's busy. It is almost full. And now you're wondering, or maybe it's not full, it's halfway there, and you're wanting to open up another location. As you know, I did not have another location. I had 55 therapists all in one place. It was like a mega clinic, if you will. I almost opened up another location, but I'll tell you what I know and what I've learned from my members and what we talk about all the time. In general, I would not open up a second location until you've hit your revenue goals. Let's say it's $1 million at your first location, and a couple other things. And Laura, I won't say your last name, Laura B, you know who you are. You had asked me this question on Instagram, so I want to answer it for you because she's opened up a second location and she's like, oh, shoot. When you say hit your revenue goals, like, what does that mean? I love that you asked this. So it's a couple things. And before I answer that, I want to tell you why. Sometimes opening up a second location can cannibalize the first, which is not what we want, can water down the first location. And I see this when people will take their really good admin and move it to the new location. But then what happens if the first one is not fully systemized? The revenue goes down a little bit. So before we make that mistake, let's talk about this. Location 1, did you hit your revenue goals? Does it float? Here's what I mean. Is it systemized, and does it run without you, and does it float? Picture a pool. You've probably seen my pool on Instagram. I'm like beside it every single day. Picture a little boat floating in the pool. If you leave that little boat, because now you're going to focus on location number 2, does the boat float? If I go to my cottage for the weekend and I leave this little boat, a little power boat, you can tell I have kids, it's like a little toy boat I'm envisioning. When I come back, because my eye on the prize is over at location number 2, is that little boat at the bottom of the pool? Because that's what happens with some of you where you're like, oh no, there was holes. It doesn't float. I thought it floated. It floated for like a little bit, but then when I fully let it go, it didn't float. Double check. Does it run without you? Test it. Is it revenue generated when you're not there? Do you have an operations manager running it? Clinic manager running it? And then when it floats, you put boat number 2 in the pool. Laura, I want to answer your question more specifically. Revenue goal is important, but most important is profit. I want you in location number 1 to have a profit margin at least of 20%. We can even hit 30% if we do certain things right, if you offer assessments, if you hire psychologists, but at least 20% of that $1 million is pure profit. In a perfect world, I wouldn't move to location number 2 until, okay, it floats. Okay, the revenue's flowing in. But wait, don't move to a different location yet. Let's tweak things. How do I increase my profit margin even more? And then for some of you, maybe it's just enjoying. Maybe it's not opening up the second location, but it's working less. Isn't that really why you're listening to me? Isn't it so interesting that that's deeply what we want, is to have freedom, flexibility, travel, be with our kids, be so present, be able to pick them up, take them places, just live our life with full autonomy. But, and trust me, I'm talking to myself right now. I have this part of us that is so driven that we get so wrapped up in more, that we actually forget that, wait, the goal is to work less. So I would say if you hit your revenue goal and it floats and the profit margin is there and the profit is flowing in, my friend, hit the freaking beach. Just go. Go to the beach. You deserve it. And maybe after 1 year, and if it's still there for you, like, no, I really want to open up another location, I would do it. And back to Laura for a second. And there's a few of you that have already opened the second location, but you have not yet hit the revenue goal at the first or the profit goal, and it doesn't float. That's okay. Now you know, plug all the holes. Just really be aware that we can't have 100% focus in 2 places. So I'm so glad I'm telling you this, because now when you're focusing on location number 2, you're going to catch yourself and make it a goal like, wait, I really also have to have my eyes on location 1. My first goal is to have that be flowing with ease. And then I'm going to obviously not neglect the second location, but just don't neglect the first. That tends to be a tendency, and you can still get to where you're going. I want to leave you with this. Don't rush. I find myself rushing, and I do feel that. It's so interesting. Like, even though I'm retired, I work a lot, and I think it's because I really love working. But it's annoying, honestly. When I set a goal, I immediately want to rush to get there. And it's really annoying because I'm like, oh my God, Nicole, who cares? Like, just enjoy your life. You have this amazing life. Just slow down. There is no rush to hit the $1 million mark. I mean, you're probably thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, Nicole, but just hear me out. For you to open up the second location, or that thing that you think that's just taking too long, you will have more. Let's say it takes 5 years to open up a second location. You will have more of a following in 5 years. You will have more brand authority, a bigger, better reputation than you do now. So when you hate waiting, because that's just being human, remind yourself, but wait, the waiting part, there's so much happening in the background that when that thing comes that I really want, it's actually going to be easier to open up that second location if that's what I want, because I'm just going to have more people who know me. Take a deep breath, my friend. It is all coming, and just don't miss the piece where you breathe it in and enjoy it. I'll see you next week.